Okay, so in this video, I wanted to kind of go a little bit over Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, its release date, and also my personal list for Ratchet and Clank games from my favorite to least favorite. I played most of them, majority of them anyway. I played all the console ones other than All for One, really. I played a little bit of All for One, but not much. But played the other ones, beat like 8 Ratchet and Clanks, I believe. Haven't played the PSP ones, but they also weren't made by Insomniac, and I'm not a big handheld player and heard they weren't as good. But in terms of Rift Apart, glad we got the official release day a few weeks ago. Disappointed that it was June 11th, just because that's about 2 months later than people were expecting at worst, maybe even 3 months when it was set to be a launch window game, but obviously got delayed. Especially because at one point I thought they were only holding it back to not have it come out at the same time as Spider-Man Miles Morales, as both Insomniac games, because it just looked like it was pretty far in development type of thing. So kind of disappointed in that, but at least we got a date. Hoping too that now on that Final Fantasy is coming out the day before that. I'm wondering if Ratchet and Clank's gonna get delayed again. So that kind of worries me. But we'll see. In terms of Ratchet and Clank games, so like I said, I think it'd be an 8. This is my personal list. I'm not going to go too much detail. Just want to let people know what games are my favorite, as well as it's hard for me to go in detail too because I kind of forget sometimes what weapons were in what game type of thing, what plants were in what game, but just kind of overall what I remember in terms of overall enjoyment of the games. And just wanting to, in the comments, if you guys want, to kind of rank the Ratchet and Clank games yourself, if you've played them or not, what your rank is basically, and if you agree with me or close to me or completely different. But I'm going to start at number 1 and kind of go down. So my favorite Ratchet and Clank game is Crack in Time. It's also my first Ratchet and Clank game. So I don't know if you could say there's some nostalgia in there. Maybe that's part of it, but just had a really good story and got me hooked basically in the franchise just like that. Went back after that, got the other games on like the PlayStation 3 HD collection, as well as like Tools of Destruction and whatnot. But yeah, Crack in Time was my favorite. Interesting story. The whole Great Clock stuff was cool. So that's my number 1. My number 2 would be Going Commando. Just I remember playing it and just how much of an improvement it was over the original Ratchet and Clank. It was the first Ratchet and Clank where you could actually like level up weapons and such. I think it was after that in the next game where you could actually level up stuff even more. But that's my number 2 is Going Commando. It's Crack in Time, then Going Commando. Number 3, Tools of Destruction. I don't remember when it comes to Ratchet and Clank games, the order that I played them in, other than knowing that Crack in Time was first. I actually didn't go back and play the HD originally 3 until I think 2019. It's hard to say because 2020 feels like 5 years instead of 1 year. But yeah, that's my number 3 is Tools of Destruction. My number 4, I would say, is probably the PS4 Ratchet and Clank. I know a lot of people kind of hate on the PS4 Ratchet and Clank. I'm not really sure why. I guess because they say they changed kind of the humor and the characters and everything, but the gameplay is just so solid and the game looks amazing and everything. So yeah, PS4 Ratchet and Clank would be number 4. Number 5, I'd probably go back to the original trilogy and go back to actually the original Ratchet and Clank. Great game. But you don't have the leveling up system from the other games, and that kind of hurts it. But still, great game. Enjoyed it a lot. Number 6, I would probably then go to Upper Arsenal. I've only beat the original 3 Ratchet and Clank games once, so it's kind of hard for me to remember the details in that. And even though I love Ratchet and Clank, it's not a franchise where I've been in each game like 10 times or anything crazy like that. So it can be hard for me to remember. But I just remember with Going Commando, or Upper Arsenal, excuse me, even though I liked it, I just remember not liking it as much as Going Commando. But still a good game at number 6. Number 7, I would say, gets kind of hard here. But I'd probably go with Quest for Booty. Really like the pirates. You see some of the pirates in Tools of Destruction as well. But yeah, I like how pirate centered the game is in that one. Thought that was pretty cool, and it's cool that in Rift Apart too. You're going to get at least some of the pirates. Don't know how long that'll last, but when you go through a Rift in one of the trailers. Number 8 would be Into the Nexus. Then with Into the Nexus as well as Quest for Booty is both shorter Ratchet and Clank games. I believe they both, or at least Quest for Booty, I know, it started out as like a DLC before it became kind of a smaller full game, if you will. Into the Nexus, I'm not sure. Might be kind of the same situation. Don't quite know. But yeah, Into the Nexus would be number 8. Still very enjoyable game, but also like Quest for Booty, kind of short. And the villains, while kind of interesting, didn't like them as much as the pirates. So that's my number 8. And yeah, that would be all the Ratchet and Clank games that I'd be in as well. Because like I said, I haven't really played. Did forget one game. This is the only Ratchet and Clank game I've actually played enough. Because like I said, I haven't really played the handheld ones. All for One, I haven't played enough to really make an overall opinion on it. Actually, I forgot. Another couple of Ratchet and Clank games. Unfortunately, I forgot. So my list is already kind of off, unfortunately. But yeah, I forgot about what was the one? Let me see here real quick. It was it was like the Gladiator one. Man, blanking out on that one. Let's see here. Ratchet and Clank. It was Deadlock. Yeah, I forgot about Deadlock. Ratchet and Clank Deadlock I enjoyed a lot. It was very different than your typical Ratchet and Clank because it's basically all fighting in a sense, not as much going from planet to planet. But it was an enjoyable game. So I did forget that on my list. So thinking about my list, going back up the top, I'd probably keep it as Crack in Time. Then I'd probably go actually, yeah, Gladiator or Deadlock, excuse me. I know it wouldn't be on the top of my list, so it'd be somewhere around probably 7th or so. So that makes 9 Ratchet and Clank games. So unfortunately, I kind of messed up my list too much, and I'm not really sure where I'd put that. Then, okay, so my list is already off, unfortunately. Sorry about that. My 10th Ratchet and Clank game now then would be the one Ratchet and Clank game that I have played enough of, I feel like, to make an opinion on it. And it's actually the only Ratchet and Clank game out of the 10 that I would say I didn't like overall. And that is hold on a second. Unfortunately, I can't believe I forgot about these couple. Ratchet and Clank. Full Frontal Assault. Yeah. So Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault is the one Ratchet and Clank game out of the 10, like I said, that I've basically played enough of that I did not like. And the reason for that is that it was just felt a lot more repetitive than basically any other Ratchet and Clank game. And the reason for that is that there's not really platforming so much and exploration and all that. Kind of like Gladiator, but even worse in that regard. And it's just feels very repetitive because it's basically like go to a couple of different planets or whatever, protect your base. Never even completed the game. Actually, kind of got bored with it, which I never thought would happen with the Ratchet and Clank game before that. And I'm not sure how many of them I had played before that one. I know I'd played at least like 3 Ratchet and Clank games before that one. But yeah, Full Frontal Assault, just very repetitive because, just go and protect your base. So it's like all out on fighting, nothing else really whatsoever, and just got really old really, really quick. So yeah, that's my list of the 10 Ratchet and Clank games that I've played, even though, like I said, I screwed up my list, unfortunately. But anyway, don't want to keep rambling on here too long. So I'm going to end this stream just wondering what your guys' thoughts are on Ratchet and Clank games in terms of your list and maybe which ones you think are underrated or overrated or whatnot. And if you're excited for Rift Apart, as I can't wait for Rift Apart. Hope it doesn't get delayed again, like I said, but we'll see. Still a few months out. I might replay some of the other Ratchet and Clank games. Before then, I know I replayed a few last year. I might replay some this year. I was thinking about maybe going through the original 3 since I've only beat them once and never did the challenge mode or new game plus mode or whatever it's called, which I did do on Crack in Time, and I did do that on the PS4 one a while back. So we'll see. But as always, thanks for tuning in. Later.